Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I want to go back to testing items. It doesn't matter what the energy is, where it's coming from. It could be supplements, it could be a type of machine you own, or pretty much anything else. You can even test a person's picture and ask if they're positive or negative by the spin you get from them. Now, all life has basically three spins to it. If something is perfectly balanced, it has positive, it has negative, clockwise, counterclockwise, and even has neutral in it. But this confuses the issue, and you really have to use a very special type of dowsing rod to get those particular energies. But very few products have that. You'll find this with some very balanced items that will have everything. Usually you're not going to find that. Now, what you're usually going to find is whether something has good energy, and we show you here clockwise, just like a clock goes, or negative energy, or counterclockwise. So we can put on here wise. Now, I've tested, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands of items, and I can't find a single positive item or energy that spins counterclockwise and vice versa. If you test chemicals, detergents, all things that are not good for bioentities such as ourselves, Drano, chemicals, no matter what it is, you're going to get a counterclockwise spin on it. Anything that's good, a good food, supplements, things that are good in general and have good energies, always spin clockwise. So this is something that you have to understand, but there's more to the picture, and I'm going to cover that right now, than clockwise and counterclockwise. If you are testing something that has a value, you have to ask, is this going to take care of the problem? And you want to test that, because a lot of things will test positive but are as weak as garbage. So the bottom line is most things are very weak. They may not be toxic to the energy field, but they probably won't do anything. And I've particularly found this with your common products you found online that are called orgone. Now, if someone is using orgonite, it's going to spin very negatively counterclockwise. It's bad for you, and people that have used orgone have become sick and diseased and have died, including the inventor of it, who died young, and his wife even died 10 years before him. So the whole idea is that this is a very toxic element. Now, regular orgone, these little basically goop of toxic plastic that people drop things in, crystals and other things, don't put out any kind of energy whatsoever that will do anything. Usually these come out neutral. Some of them will come out positive, but positive in one aspect. So the fact that it isn't generating negative energy doesn't mean that it's generating energy at a high enough level that it does anything for you. So that's the next question you want to ask. Now, I've did this for many, many years. I used to particularly sell tachyons made by Advanced Tachyon Products, and they always had a positive low-level energy. The problem is they're very low level, and they never really did much of anything. You know, it's a really very low-level product at a very high price. So these are the kind of things you want to stay away from. Will this assist you and the problems you're having? Is this enough energy to help you with whatever that is? And you have to ask that with your pendulum. And of course, you know, pendulums, you have to, I've moved over recently to using more wood pendulums. I like them. They're light, they pick up sensitive energy, but they're just heavy enough, and there are many, many different shapes of these. This has been a classical one that people like metal. And I've used this for many years as well, and has a great shape to it. Very interesting, and this has been found to work very effective. I've also recently come across this type, which has this big cone to it and a nice round ball. We're finding that these round balls are very important because they seem to suck the energy in and pick up a lot of different energy waves. And of course, you've got to have that. And here, this is a roundish ball itself as well. The other thing, of course, is when you're using pendulums, it's critically important to cleanse the energy. So, of course, we have our cleansing plates, and I've used these for years, and you got to remember you're picking up all sorts of energies, and if you're going to use the same pyramid on anything, something that's laying around, generally all you need to get is a clearing plate like this. Clear it off, you leave it on there for a minimum, and you can put many on there if you have them, for a minimum of 4 hours. And then once you're finished with that, what we recommend is for at least 20 minutes is put it on your energy plate to give it a charge. This assists in picking up the energy. Now, this is all very critical. You got to remember using pendulums for most people is a big hit and miss, and it's not good. If you're going to test anything, if you're going to be a person who uses any kind of scalar radionic machine, you need to use pendulums to get proper tuning if you're using tuning machines, which are pretty much on the way out. But professionals and the advanced people use tuning instruments and can get good results. The average person doesn't need that. You need to use our systems, which just use energy rates and plates. Very simple, very easy, and very effective. And the beautiful thing about using an energy plate is, as we show even here, but this is for 3 different energies, tachyon, neutrinos, and gravitons. But we now generally, on a lot of our plates, we have 3 different rates, giving you massive amounts of energy for clearing, for empowering, as well as whatever the plate is for. So, but we'll get into that in other videos. We want to get back to the clockwise and counterclockwise. Now, clockwise, everything good spins clockwise. Everything bad spins counterclockwise. But as I said, it's as simple as that. It's not complicated. It's not something to overthink about. But can you get good readings? And you have to practice with the pendulum. There's lots of free information online. With our pendulums, we give you access to a page full of books and training courses on the use of dowsing and pendulums that we've collected over the years. So you get that free of charge when you get a pendulum from us. But there's, if you have your own pendulum already, and as I said, if you're not using one of the 3 that we have here, generally you're doing yourself a disfavor because there's a lot of junk out there. Things you tend to want to stay away from, any kind of stones. Now, again, you got to remember that metals collect energy. So if you're not clearing them out, that could be a problem as well. As I said, I've been moving over into wood now, and I find these are very sensitive, and I prefer them. But, you know, when you start off, usually you like stronger. But if you're using stones, clear quartz, etc., these all tend to hold energies, and if you're not clearing them, you're running into problems. If you want to do really good work, and you want to have very sensitive work, you've got to watch the little details, and you got to be careful what type of pendulum you use. People either tend to get too fancy, use different types that are a little bit odd, but ultimately is what works for you. But what works for you is going to change over the years as well. I used to use a lot of metal pendulums. Now I'm using almost exclusively wood, and there are all sorts of ones out there, different shapes, etc. And a job may call for, or if you're going to take a reading, maybe something that's a little different. And it could be your energy reading as well. If you're having a powerful energy day, using a light wood pendulum is going to do great work for you. And that will allow you to be very sensitive and pick up the perfect energy coming from it. So you have to look at it. Other days you may need something heavy, and you have to just try it to find out. But as I said, those are it. Now the neutral, of course, when your pendulum goes back and forth, happens occasionally. Now, this generally means, if you're getting that, it means that there's nothing to read. If you ask, is something powerful, and you get this from it, it's saying it's neutral. It's neither good nor bad. That's another thing you can pick up. So there's 3 basic readings, but there's another thing to test. So when you're testing some sort of supplement and asking any kind of energy, But particularly when it comes to supplements, medications, or anything else that you want to test, and this is a great thing you can do with pendulums, which will save you a lot of money. And also find out if you're effective. So if you're taking vitamin C, well, how much vitamin C do you need? And you can also ask, similar of what I did with recently with some of these Life Wave patches, is are they effective to take care of the problem? And of course, I got no. I got counterclockwise. I checked them, do they have basically good energy? And of course, they came out clockwise. Yes, they have basically good energy, but there's not enough energy there to solve the problem that you are seeking them for. And that's what you got to look for everything. So when you get something from somebody, whether it's a homeopathic or something else, will this solve the problem? And then you have to break it down. Well, if it's basically good for you, that's what you start off. So you get a clockwise. Should I take this? Or does it balance with my body? Will my body like this? And it spins clockwise. But that's not really what you're asking. What you're asking is this going to take care of the problem I have? And many times, almost a majority of the time, maybe 70 to 90%, you're going to get a no. Then you have to ask, do I need to take more than this? And you get your dosage down. So it's not good enough that the energy is basically good or spinning clockwise. It has to give you a clockwise spin that this will solve your problem. This is very, very important. I've never heard anybody else speak of that because, of course, they're nowhere near have the expertise and the 55 years of research that I've done in this field, and the expert on the planet in this entire area with an author of 35 books, 5 courses, been on BBC, CNN, etc. I've been a manufacturer and occult engineer and have degrees in occult science and in basically what is now called scalar energy physics, otherwise known as scalar radionic energies. So, and very few people have that. And of course, there's the degrees in that are not even offered anymore. But the bottom line is you don't have those kind of trained people out there. And for you to get these skills is difficult. So what you want to do is to start off initially is to practice your pendulum work. Get things out. And generally, energy flows through the left hand, out the right. So you hold something in your left hand, and then you ask, is this energy good or bad? So, as simple as that. And you will get a clockwise or counterclockwise spin there, and you'll find out if that energy is generally good. If that's a supplement, then you're going to have to go into dosage. Is 1 pill good enough? Is 2 capsules good enough? And you keep going up, and you have to find out what's the perfect dosage for you, and that's what can make this whole process very powerful. You get 2 things from that. You tend not to waste a lot of product that you may not need. But if you're taking too little and it doesn't work for you, well, what's the point? You're wasting your money yet again. So dosage when you come to natural supplements, foods, supplements, herbs, etc. like that, how much do you need? And you would go ahead and check that. And there are ways of checking things and going into very advanced professional ways. These are available in our Great Path course and online in our many courses. This is kind of just a quick intro to give you an idea of how to do things. So, as I said, you want to ask, will this take care of the problem I have? Okay? So, and again, clockwise, just like a clock runs counterclockwise, which is, again, bad. And you can test this, get things from your house. You can get a supplement or something you know is positive generally, or certainly should be. And you can hold your pendulum over it and say, what is the energy field for this? And it should start spinning clockwise. You can also then get a poison. Could be drain cleaner. Most of your washing detergents and other things are not good energy. You certainly wouldn't want to eat that stuff. They are cleaner. And then you should get a counterclockwise. But as I said, once you find something that has a good spin on it, Is this strong enough to take care of it? And as I said, tachyons are a prime example of the fact that these are not strong enough to take care of the problem you have. So the whole idea is buying a bunch of stuff that isn't necessarily toxic but doesn't solve your problem is again a waste of time. We're living in a time where we have to watch our investments, and most importantly is we have to get results. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Plain and simple. So you should not buy stuff. And I've tested items after items I've been testing products for at least 35 years now, and I don't find hardly any products that are worth a damn, period. This is one of the main reasons why I make so much of my own stuff. So the whole idea is that you can't find credible products out there. People don't know what they're doing. They're not trained well. They make unbelievable claims that cannot be backed up. I've heard some of the most stupidest stuff from people who claim to be experts. It's really unbelievable. People who write books that are actually giving you fraudulent and criminal claims about products that they know nothing about, even though they write books on it. This is the world we live in. You can trust no one. People don't have the background. They're not trained properly, and they are deliberately out there just to steal from you or live in a delusional, fantasy, evil world that so many people live in this day and age. So we have to keep that in mind. We have to understand the reality of what's going out there, understanding the energetic spins of life, clockwise, counterclockwise, is critical. Understanding that yes, that has good energy in it, or general good energy, but is the energy strong enough to do anything? And you're going to pretty much find almost every product fails that check. So I've got other things, as I said, I've tried a lot of your typical little goofball orgone stuff and their toxic little plastic shells, pyramids and stuff. They don't do anything. I do find them attractive, and I think they're attractive little paperweights for your desk. They have no energy in them. And people that tell you differently are lying to you. They're ripping you off, and they have no proof to it whatsoever. And what's scary about some of these products, as I have tested myself and even have been reported to me, is that they have negative energy in it. So you take that negative energy and then you start putting that into your body. You use it on yourself. You maybe put it next to things to charge up, etc. So what you're doing is putting all this negative energy into you. That's why it's so important to learn how to check energy fields in. As I said, anybody who's involved in scalar energy physics has to understand and be able to access the energy fields, because it can only be done by you and your bioenergies. And all this nonsense that we have out there with rubbing plates. Ooh, goo, 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 goo. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, I'm going to rub it. Ooh, maybe a genie will pop out. Ooh, we're going to rub it here. Ooh. This is just, the level of asinineness of that technique is hard to believe. You cannot ascertain a proper reading by using a rubbing plate. And anybody that tells you different, well, they're all going to tell you different because they're uneducated boobs. So it's just the way of the world. You can't trust anybody, whether they're doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, or on law enforcement. They're all delusional and dangerous. Be careful. It's simple and easy to understand subtle energy physics, otherwise known as scalar radionic physics. It's very easy to learn all this stuff and understand what you're doing. You follow simple principles, and you are going to be those who succeed in a world that is going to get tougher and tougher. It's not difficult, but like anything else that has value, don't expect that to be shouted from every street corner. What's going to be on every street corner is the fraudulent garbage built by uneducated, dangerous, and evil people. That's how the world is. Until next time.